Okay, so you're ready to jump into welding. That's awesome. But now comes the big question, right? Which welder should you actually buy? Let's break it down and figure it out together. Yeah, if you've started looking around, you've probably noticed it's not that simple. I mean, there are so many options out there for everything from tiny home repairs all the way up to pro-level stuff. You see all these different brands, a bunch of technical jargon, crazy price differences. Yeah, it can get overwhelming fast. But hey, don't sweat it. This explainer is going to give you a super clear way to think about this so you can make the right call for you. All right, first things first. Before you even think about looking at a single welder, you got to ask yourself, what am I actually going to do with it? Are we talking about fixing a rusty old gate, making a custom bumper for your truck, or maybe some cool metal art? The answer to that question is everything, because it tells you what kind of welding you need to do. Okay, so here are the four main players you're going to see. First up is MIG. Honestly, think of it like the point-and-shoot camera of welding. It's super easy to learn and just great for all-around stuff. Then you've got flux-core, which is kind of like MIG's tougher cousin, who likes working outside. No gas bottle needed. Stick welding, that's the old-school classic. It's a total beast that'll weld through rusty, dirty metal, no problem. And finally, there's TIG. This is for the artists. It gives you those beautiful, precise welds you see on custom bikes and stuff, but fair warning, it's definitely the hardest one to get the hang of. So here's the bottom line for most people starting out. For the vast majority of DIY projects and home hobbyists, MIG is going to be your best friend. It's just so versatile, the learning curve is way less steep, and it's a fantastic all-around machine for a home garage. Okay, now let's talk about the welders themselves. We're going to look at a few of those key specs you see on the side of the box so you know what you're actually comparing. One of the big ones you'll always see is something called duty cycle. It sounds complicated, but it's not. All it means is, in any 10-minute period, how long can you actually weld before the machine needs to take a breather and cool down? And this chart breaks it down perfectly. See that 20% duty cycle? That means you can weld for 2 minutes, and then you gotta let it rest for the other 8. If you're doing huge projects, a higher duty cycle is a must. But for quick little jobs around the shop, a lower one is usually totally fine. Next up is power. You've got welders that plug into a regular wall outlet, that's 120 volts, and then you've got the more powerful ones that need a 240-volt outlet, like for your dryer. The really cool thing is, a lot of new machines are dual voltage. That gives you the best of both worlds. Plug it in anywhere for small jobs, or tap into that 240-volt power when you need to weld some seriously thick metal. Okay, this is a big one for beginners. Keep an eye out for features with fancy names like auto set or synergic control. Basically, these are smart features. They take all the guesswork out of setting up the machine. You just tell it how thick your metal is and what wire you're using, and boom, it dials in the settings for you. It makes getting a good weld from the get-go so much easier. All right, and this leads us to probably the biggest debate out there, the brands. Is it worth shelling out the big bucks for a name like Miller or Lincoln? Or can you get just as good a deal or even better with one of the budget-friendly brands that are packed with features? And really, it all comes down to this one major trade-off. With the big, established brands, you're paying for peace of mind. If something goes wrong, there's a good chance you can take it to a local repair shop. With the budget brands, you get way more bang for your buck. More features, more power. But if it breaks, well, getting it serviced can be a real nightmare. And this quote from a guy on a forum just says it all. His budget welder broke, and he couldn't find anyone to fix it. His exact words were that he was just fucked, and the machine was now just a brick. That's the real-world risk you're looking at. Once it's out of warranty, a broken budget machine can sometimes be impossible to get repaired. But then you have the other side of the coin. Lots of people have amazing experiences with these budget welders. I mean, look at this review. This person points out that their machine works great, it costs less than half the price, and it came with a better warranty. So if you don't run into problems, the value is just undeniable. Let's look at some actual numbers. In this popular class of welders, the budget machine is literally less than half the price of the big brands. It's got a longer warranty, and it's a lot lighter to carry around. I mean, you can see right there why these budget options are so tempting. So, what do you do? How do you actually make a choice? Well, it's not about finding the quote-unquote best welder. It's about finding the best welder for you. And you can figure that out by just answering 4 simple questions. Just walk yourself through this. First, figure out your projects. That'll tell you what process and power you need. Then, set your budget for the welder and all the safety gear. Then, and this is the big one, be honest with yourself about your tolerance for risk. How important is it that you can get this thing fixed locally in a few years? A great tip is to just call a local repair shop and ask, hey, what brands do you guys work on? Their answer will tell you a lot. Because in the end, that's what it all boils down to. What's more valuable to you? A longer warranty from some company you have to deal with online, or being able to drive 5 minutes down the road to a local shop that can fix it for you? There's no wrong answer here. It's all about knowing what you value most, so you can pick a welder that you're going to be happy with for a long, long time.